Welcome, everyone. Wake the kids, call the dog, buckle in, buckle up, and keep those Cheetos near the phone. This is the Telarus Tuesday call for February 20th, 2018. It's good to be back after what was for some of us the big holiday weekend and the first major snowfall here in Utah. So we're all about a half an hour behind where we'd like to be this morning. We finally got a taste of what the East has been dealing with for weeks. And yesterday, of course, was President's Day, which in reality is George Washington's birthday. But the term President's Day was informally adopted to remember all presidents of the United States. President's Day was celebrated yesterday, and we hope that as you checked your wallet, it was filled with pictures of more than just our first president. If not, maybe we can help you today. I'm Doug Miller, joined once again by Ray Hicken, Telarus VP of Sales Operations for Unified Communications and Contact Centers. Ray and his team are your experts in developing, proposing, and closing UC and contact center solutions, an exciting, growing, and very lucrative portion of the telecom landscape. Today and all this month, Ray and some very special guests will be teaching us how to win with these opportunities. Today, Ray welcomes both ConnectFirst and Clearview to the Telarus Tuesday call. Those exciting presentations and your questions are coming up in just minutes. We also have an exciting new supplier to launch today and this week. Brodynt, an international provider of global Internet access in more than 200 countries, global networking hardware provided and installed almost anywhere in the world, and managed services from IPsec VPN configurations to Wi-Fi and field services. You're going to meet Brodynt. They will be coming up in just a few minutes. If you happen to miss last week's presentations, we introduced you to both BroadVoice, providing all the ways to exceed customer expectations right at the contact center agent's fingertips. BroadVoice launched the new Telarus partnership during special training last Wednesday with a discussion of their cloud, contact center, UC, SIP, and more. We also introduced you last week to G12 Communications, whose special launch and training call last Thursday discussed the power of G12's enterprise-grade cloud communications. It's an incredible value, powerful features, a simple interface, and fast setup. And then Ray Hicken moderated a discussion with two of Telarus' powerful UC and contact center providers, first with Smart Action, offering call center automation powered by AI, a conversational AI platform for omni-channel customer self-service. And then continuing with Nice in Contact, powering customer experience goals with CX1 for omni-channel routing, analytics, workforce optimization, and automation and AI. All of that in a one-hour call, last week's Telarus Tuesday call. Definitely worth a listen. The recording is in your partner back office. And there is even more today. Log in to our video feed for all of the information. Steph, I'm there now, by the way. And submit questions and comments for our presenters. Let's get it underway. Big thanks to everyone who joined us in Denver last week for our Telarus Innovation Conference. You saw the pictures, and the conference will soon be making its way to you. These conferences are immersive technology training experiences with workshops and case studies on security, SD-WAN, contact center, and more. Take your business to the next level and network with the industry experts. 3 more conferences in February. Today, we are in both Houston, Texas, and Birmingham, Alabama. And this Thursday, the Telarus Innovation Conference gets underway at the Chateau Elan Winery and Resort in Brazelton, Georgia. You can still sign up now for that one and check out the rest of this year's schedule at Telarus.com events. We do have some special recognition today for 3 of our Telarus partners who have put up the biggest wins these past couple of weeks. First up, Telarus congratulates our partner Stephen Carpenter from Marietta, Georgia, who joined Telarus just over a year ago. Stephen closed an outstanding sale of network monitoring services from TPX to a client in the medical services vertical. TPX Managed Services give your clients the support they need for critical IT systems without the cost and hassle of doing it in-house. Thanks, Stephen Carpenter, for putting together a terrific solution and for placing this phenomenal sale with Telarus. And taking the number 2 spot on this week's leaderboard, Telarus congratulates John Burns of Encore Technologies out of Cincinnati, Ohio. John and his team put together a terrific sale of fiber Ethernet services from Spectrum Business, also for a customer in the medical services industry. Still a big vertical for us. Spectrum offers fiber Ethernet technology that transforms organizations. Encore Technologies is a data center-centric, full-service provider of comprehensive IT solutions. They are longtime IT professionals with a passion for developing customer solutions. Congratulations, John Burns of Encore Technologies, on this tremendous Spectrum Business sale. And topping this week's leaderboard at the number 1 position, our congratulations and thanks go out to Sarah Prell and the team at Snap Communications out of Portland, Oregon. Sarah and her team closed a tremendous sale of local PRI services from Granite to a client in the senior living space. Granite has been featured on the Telarus leaderboard several times in the past weeks with a variety of traditional telecom services that are still in demand with good money to be made. Check out Granite for your clients' voice and data needs. Sarah Prell and Snap Communications have lit up the Telarus scoreboard this week. Congratulations on this tremendous Granite sale. So far, it has been a terrific 2018. Our thanks to these 3 top-selling partners and to all of you for trusting Telarus with your business. Telarus is built for you. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's my great pleasure to help introduce a brand new Telarus supplier on today's call. I am joined today by Brett Tyre. Brett is with Brodynt, an international provider of business-grade telecom and IT solutions to more than 200 countries globally. Brodynt helps Telarus partners monetize your clients' international connectivity and networking needs, offering them more value and differentiating you from your competition. You can fully quote on global bids, bringing you more potential customers and retaining those with an international presence. Brett, welcome to our Telarus Tuesday call. This is a terrific new relationship that will certainly benefit our partners.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And just as a quick correction, my last name is Ryer. But thank you.
Ryer, I apologize.
No problem whatsoever. Thanks for introducing me. As mentioned, my name is Brett Ryer. I'm in charge of North American development for Brodynt Global Services. I'm going to keep this fairly quick because the main show is going to be on Thursday, of course. And so, kind of as the name suggests, somewhat suggests at least, we offer global aggregated internet services already, but we're also about to be global in more ways than one with our main expansion into the U.S. with UK and Asia also on the timeline. At which time the U.S. office opens, I'll transition back into the U.S. As the functioning managing director. And just as a quick background for myself, whenever I was first approached by Brodynt, I was working as a CFO for a construction company. And even though now I'm in telecoms, from an operational perspective, it made sense for me to take over the operations in the U.S. But enough about me. We hope that Telarus and its agent partners will be a big part of our success in the U.S. And so on Thursday, my colleague Hugo and I are going to walk you through what it is like to work with Brodynt and how we can optimize our partnership value for the years to come. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We look forward to the presentation on Thursday.
Well, thank you, Brett. That's Brett Ryer with Brodynt. And again, don't forget our launch and training call. It happens Thursday, February 22nd, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Telarus Bridge. Brett, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Thank you.
Well, because we have so much information to present today, we're not going to be recapping training opportunities or featured spiffs, but just know that all of our live and recorded training opportunities are in your Telarus partner back office at agent.telarus.com, and spiffs and promotions are all listed at promos.telarus.com. You'll want to check those out. Some great offers being made by our suppliers. Well, as mentioned earlier, I am very happy once again today to welcome Ray Hicken to our Telarus Tuesday call. Ray is Telarus VP of Sales Operations for UC and Contact Centers. I'm telling you, no one knows contact center selling like this guy. Ray and his team, they know the market, the pricing, the distribution, the strategy, the compensation. And this month we're featuring Telarus UC and call center practices. Today, Ray welcomes special guest from ConnectFirst and from Clearview. Ray, welcome back to the Telarus Tuesday call. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Doug. Thank you for that introduction. Again, you make me feel so good about myself. I need to talk to you every morning.
All deserved, my friend.
Well, thank you. Hey, everybody. It's great to have you on the call again as we continue our Contact Center month, and for good reason. I'm actually sitting in Houston at a Telarus Innovation Conference, and you should go on the web and find out which one's closest to you, because we are going deep and wide into Contact Center for a good reason. Again, as I said last week, this is a 15% tap cloud contact center market of a $14, $15 billion industry. And in talking to several CEOs, this will grow to 50% to move to the cloud. So there's a good reason for you to be on these calls and to learn what it is that we can do to help you be successful. And we're putting lots of tools around that for you here at Telarus to help you succeed. And this morning is another good example of two great companies that fit into that, as I said, that ecosystem around the contact center. You have core contact center platforms, the ACD and the IVR, but we also have companies that are really nice fits into the contact center that can be key to the success of the company and key to enhancing the experience in the contact center, and we'll see that here today. But before I introduce those to you, as I promised, I'm giving you a tip of the week, and last week the tip of the week was around remembering how to register a deal and why you need to register early and often, because it's a different market when it comes to contact center versus telecommunications. So today's tip of the week is recognizing what a good opportunity is by asking the right question. If you ask the question, do you have a contact center or a call center, many of these companies are going to look at you and say, no, we don't. And that's just not true. Like I said, it's not 300 agents sitting in a dark room taking calls on an 800 number late at night on a widget. That is not what a call center is or a contact center is today. And so most companies have some kind of a contact center, which is really a connection between the customer and their business. And that's what it is. So when you get into a situation when you're in a company, don't ask if they have a contact center. Instead, ask questions like, do you have a customer service support department? Do you have a tech support team? Do you have a help desk? Do you have an 800 number? Do you have seasonal business? And do you do any inbound, outbound sales of the company? Those companies will say, in most cases, yes, we have people who do that. That's a contact center. And that leads you into the opportunity to discuss other additional questions to find out if there's an opportunity for you to come in and help them with their solution. So that's my tip of the week. Remember not to ask, do you have a contact center, because most of them will say they don't. But if you do ask them about these other departments that they have, that's a contact center, really a connection between the customer and their business. So that's my tip of the week for you. And we'll give you another one next week. So now I want to introduce to you two great companies that we'll be presenting to you today. First of all, from ConnectFirst, we have Jeff, the CEO and Chief Architect, and also Daryl, who is the VP of Marketing for ConnectFirst. I'm really excited about them. They've done a relaunch with us. They've done some amazing things with their platform, and we're excited about this relationship. I think what you'll see that they've done with Omnichannel, I think you'll see a difference in how they service and onboard their customers, and I think they'll be able to help you see in this change in the world from prem to cloud, it becomes more and more important how the infrastructure or what the backbone of that company, the platform that the platform rides on is really, really important. And one of the most important things for a company is their uptime. And if you cannot guarantee uptimes, it's a real challenge for you to stay in this business because it's critical for the business. So you're going to hear some wonderful things about ConnectFirst as you hear from them today, and we're excited to again relaunch with them. We've been with them for a few years, but now we're going to relaunch and really some exciting things that they're doing as a company. So I'll turn it over to Jeff and Daryl, and then I'll introduce Clearview at the conclusion of Jeff and Daryl's presentation.
Ray, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I couldn't have said it better myself. And thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy schedules today to spend a few moments with us. So as Ray was mentioning, there is a ton of opportunity in this contact center space. And if you've been following this series over the past few weeks and continue to follow it, you'll continue to see these vast amount of opportunities that exist. So according to Gartner, approximately 40% of inquiries they receive from end-user clients are related to contact centers. So there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of vendors in this space all trying to make an impact. Each of them do something different, and as Ray was mentioning, with our focus on architecture, good technology, and servicing that good technology in a really meaningful way, it helps us provide a very unique position in this space. So during this brief time that we'll have together, we're going to unpack some of the key inhibitors leading to poor market adoption to the cloud space, and where ConnectFirst really provides value in solving your client's complex communication challenges. As mentioned, I'm Daryl McDade, Vice President of Product Marketing, and joining me as CEO, employee number 1, and Chief Architect, and industry visionary is Jeffrey Mena.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Ray and Doug, for the great intro and opening there.
And we can go to the next slide, please. So as I previously mentioned, 40% of Gartner inquiries, and I'm sure you're hearing this same number, probably even more, 40, 50, 60% of inquiries are discussing this cloud contact center market. And that means that this $16 billion market size, 40% of end users have an active need for a cloud solution. I'm sure you're already doing the math and you're trying to figure out how can I help convert more of these opportunities over from an on-premise perspective to these cloud providers. And it's all about partnering with the right vendor in the space. And so when you look at this low adoption rate, 25%, and this has been the average over the past 14 years, a lot of these on-prem contact centers aren't moving over to the cloud, and the ones that are, it's not being serviced in a really meaningful way. And what we really love to talk about is this compound annual growth rate number of 23%. So the market is continuing to grow and thrive in lieu of having technology that's leading to mass market adoption. So today, your market opportunity is $12 billion, and that's from an on-prem perspective. That's a lot of opportunity with the right vendor to help move people over from on-prem to cloud in a really meaningful way. We're here to help you understand and partner with ConnectFirst to make the most out of this massive opportunity. Next slide, please. Great. So I'm sure you're all asking, okay, well, we've heard a lot of buzz in this space. We understand it's this very large market. You know, there's been numbers, depending on which source you go to, anywhere from, 12, 15, 16 billion, getting up to 25, 30 billion by 2020. And I'm sure the question that you have in your mind is, what's led to such low adoption? It's been 14 years. Why is this space still so low in overall adoption? And the answer truly is the cloud contact center market is still maturing, and end users' needs are not being met with a single reliable solution, as Ray was alluding to. And so what we've unpacked and what we're going to deliver here are some of the key inhibitors that are leading to a low mainstream market adoption. So the first one is integration capabilities. So most customers end up frustrated because of the weak capabilities and the weak connections that they have to that are being produced as a disparate technology to the software and the solutions that they use on a daily basis. The next piece is failed deployments or implementations. So as you know, and as Ray was mentioning, all contact centers are unique, and all contact centers are different. They all offer something something very uniquely special. They're like a snowflake, if you will. And it's important that there's strong and attentive understanding as to what that solution looks like so we can have successful implementations and deployments. The next piece is reliability and scalability. Ray couldn't have said it best, so I'm going to leave it there. But what's happening is there's this oversimplified cloud deployment and architecture that exists in the cloud market space, which has been a key driver to this low mass market adoption. The fourth piece is satisfaction and solution support. So on-premise, there's lots of support, lots of satisfaction in it because it's usually an internal team deploying, running, and managing and servicing it with a partnership with an on-premise provider. And if you take a few moments and you look at the space, the service is very, very low, the satisfaction is very low, and it's led to poor adoption as well. And the fifth piece is very, very complex pricing that's really hard to understand and make sense of from a total cost perspective to make sense of the transition model. So enter ConnectFirst, the only cloud-based solution built with these inhibitors in mind from day one. We natively built a feature-rich, reliable, scalable solution created on top of a service-centric business model. We didn't just want to create great technology, we wanted to create great technology and phenomenal support to back that up. So now I'm going to hand it over to Jeff Mena, our CEO and Chief Architect, to expand on our vision, give you some history from the years, and show how we're positioned to be the only contact center provider that can meet the needs of your clients' businesses and help your business thrive like never before. Take it away, Jeff.
Thanks, Daryl. Can we jump to the next slide, please? So for those of you that are not familiar with ConnectFirst, we've been in business for 14 years. We were one of the very first CCaaS platforms to market. Back then it was called Hosted Contact Center. Now it's transitioned to Cloud Contact Center as a service. But we've been doing this a long time. So one of the interesting things about how we've approached the market, which is very different than anyone else in this space, is we were a cloud-first vendor. We never started with an on-prem model and transitioned it. We never built something that we anticipated being a single-tenant solution and tried to backhaul it into a multi-tenant solution. We were truly, from day one, a multi-tenant cloud-based platform, and that shows in all of the feature functionality and reliability we bring to market these days. So I'm going to speak quickly here to some of the inhibitors that Daryl spoke about and how we solve them and where we do some things really well. And then I'm also going to go into a case study to add some concrete examples to what you might find out in the market while you're approaching contact centers and trying to win business from relatively large BPOs or first-party contact centers. So we'll start with integration capabilities. Most vendors in our space have closed systems. Their integration capabilities are non-standard. They're running on, some type of proprietary infrastructure that is challenging and frustrating to work with. Typically, that's a result of integration functionality being an afterthought from the platform perspective. We have what we call an API-first architecture. We begin by developing every feature, functionality, and layer of our technology stack with APIs, and then we build our own interfaces and functionality on top of those APIs. All of those APIs we expose to our integration and technology partners and our customers if they want to integrate directly with our platform and or modify the way our platform functions. It's very unique in our space. You might consider it similar to the Salesforce model, where everything you can do in the Salesforce API, you can also do through the Salesforce interface. We have a very similar approach to integrations. The second point that Daryl spoke about was failed deployments and implementations. The one-size-fits-all approach does not work. Every contact center has a unique set of KPIs they manage to, has a unique set of requirements from a technology standpoint, whether that be call routing or queuing, chat, message routing, etc. Even when you walk into two different call centers, if it's a BPO or a first-party call center, or they do sales or tech support or lead gen, they're all going to have completely different requirements around how they need their system configured and deployed. We do what we call a TOPS review. It's a technical and operational process review that we do on-site, and we send one of our pre-sales engineers on-site for 2 to 3 days with every new enterprise customer we bring on to fully understand their business model and understand how our technology is going to solve their problems, add efficiencies, improve their bottom lines, etc. It's a very unique sales tool that we use, and we're excited to bring that to the Telarus team as well. Ray mentioned reliability and scalability. We are one of the only platforms that was cloud first. We, over the years, as AWS has matured, we have matured, and we have moved all of our technology stack into the Amazon network. And now we're not just deploying on Amazon the same stuff we would deploy in our own data centers. We have truly leveraged every piece of technology to increase reliability and scalability on our technology stack. AWS has improved much of the SaaS industry across the board. Our platform is far superior because of our implementation on top of AWS. When we look at satisfaction and support, that's not something you typically associate with any of the vendors in the CCaaS space or even the CCI space. In my opinion, most customers feel like they can either have good support and lackluster technology or good technology and zero support. We've taken a very different approach. We have a huge amount of focus on customer satisfaction, and that goes, from implementation and pre-sales all the way out to true customer relationship management on the ongoing customer side. Talk about some KPIs that our technical support team manages to. We have a 2-minute average response time on all ticket types. We have a less than 1-minute response time to any ticket flagged as urgent by a customer. First touch resolution on over 75% of tickets. And, it's something that we really pride ourselves on, and we've been recognized by a lot of analysts for having award-winning support as well. It's a really unique perspective and creates a lot of stickiness with our customer base. The last point here is complex pricing. If you've ever tried to read one of our competitors' invoices, it's nearly impossible to understand what you're paying for, why you're paying for it, and how it aligns with the contract. That can lead to some frustration with customers. It's challenging to understand TCO ahead of time. With ConnectFirst, we really focus on transparent and predictable pricing. When a customer sees a quote from us, if they know how many minutes they are running through a network and they understand how many agents they have, they can almost predict to the dollar what their invoice will be each month. It goes along with the rest of the customer satisfaction philosophy that we operate with. Next slide, please. So I just want to run through a customer success story. This is a real customer that we closed and implemented at the beginning of 2016 or 2017. And this was a 1,500-seat on-prem call center. As most BPOs do, they grew through acquisition. So a holding company went out and acquired 7 individual contact centers all throughout the country. With those 7 locations came 7 different technologies, from dialers to ACDs, all on-premise, different reporting platforms, different management consoles, etc. That makes it very difficult to manage a business when you have 7 distinct business units all trying to work toward one common goal on different technologies. They were also having issues with downtime, and they couldn't integrate everything back with the big vendors that they were trying to partner with at the time. So we went in, and in this case, we actually did almost a 5-day TOPS review. We went to each of their centers. We understood how they were functioning, what technology they were on, what the migration path would look like. We helped the technical and management operations teams with this organization come up with a plan that would effectively move all 7 contact centers onto our platform simultaneously with almost zero downtime. They did it on a Sunday. The cutover was seamless. So what they got from this was a single platform with all of their agents on a single domain, full visibility. They were able to effectively load balance and leverage agents across all 7 facilities onto single campaigns. They got a lot more flexibility in terms of how they went about winning business. Now they had a much larger pool of resources to work with. They were able to save a lot of money off onto the bottom line by simply eliminating duplication of administration. The total cost of ownership went down incredibly. I mean, they went from having 7 different platforms and I don't even know how many carrier contracts to a single relationship where they were able to leverage economies of scale much better. We gave them some aggressive pricing on the telecom side. They're doing a lot of minutes. And they were able to save a lot of money. So, when we look back at why we were able to capture this opportunity, we are, I believe, the only CCaaS vendor in the space that can handle up to 10,000 concurrent users on a single domain. We do it consistently. We have a lot of very large enterprise customers, and we were able to prove it. We have very flexible and granular customization and security controls, which is very important to this customer. The big BPOs need to be able to bifurcate and segment off their users for PCI and HIPAA reasons, etc. And we were able to consolidate all of the reporting and visibility into a single platform. So, the story was very compelling, and we were able to bring them on, and they're, a very successful and referenceable customer for us at this point. And it's a great example of how the right CCaaS platform can solve a very complicated prem-based BPO problem. I'm going to kick it back over to Daryl now to talk about some of our program details.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeff. And some of the key things to take away from that slide there was the 20% increase in revenue and the 70% increase in operational efficiency. That is true value that you're able to bring to your clients, and it really helps your business grow and thrive. Imagine having your business grow 30% year over year just because of the right partnership. So as you can see, we truly take pride in what we build, and we've applied that same thoughtfulness to our partner program, making it easier for you to sell and support so you can become an even more valuable resource to your clients. We really believe in setting you up for success, setting our partners up for success. Our program is designed to help you have a more meaningful and valuable conversation around contact center so you can introduce a solution that not just meets your client's needs, but exceeds them and allows you to be more valuable through the process. So here's some key benefits that our partners enjoy. Now, there's dozens and dozens of them, but here's some of the highlights. So the first one being a dedicated partner and sales operations manager. We want to make sure that you have consistent and easy access to our team whenever from a dedicated perspective. When you need support, we're right there with you. It's the same model that Telarus brings to you as well, so you're going to be supported to make sure that you can bring as much value as possible. The next piece is unlimited and free online or in-person sales product and business growth training. That is a mouthful. There's a lot of value there. You can schedule that with whomever from our organization to make sure that you can fully understand and confidently and comprehensively speak about the ConnectFirst value and solution. The next piece is industry-leading online deal registration and administration. So very similar to getting your deals in the Telarus portal, we're going to work very closely in that sense. But as your deal moves through our process, our very integrated process, we want to make sure that there's a bi-directional sync so you can get updates instantly to know once we go through TOPS review or once we're going through discovery further that you have all the notes so you can be as comprehensive when you're having your offline conversations. The next piece is hassle-free cloud-based demo toolkit. So I'm sure all of you have been through the pain of setting up a sandbox for a demo for a vendor before, or 4 or 5 different vendors. We wanted to make that frictionless for presenting ConnectFirst, and so there's an online tool that you can use that's pre-configured, pre-set up to be able to have an easy, accessible conversation with your client at a moment's notice. iPad, iPhone, Android device, laptop, PC, whatever. You'll have a unique login. You can log into our platform and give a very high-level demo to get them interested into the value that you're able to offer from ConnectFirst. The next piece is automated channel conflict mitigation. Not enough vendors talk about this. We are really, really focused on making sure that the work that you're putting in actually comes to fruition. We want to make sure that we minimize cannibalization and conflict as much as possible. So we have a lot of automation built in place through all of our databases truly talking to each other to make sure that a deal that you're working, our direct sales team isn't working, are working as well. The second to last piece is comprehensive product and sales enablement tools. You will be able to talk very comprehensively about the ConnectFirst solution based off of the tools that this entire team has put in place to make sure that you can sell, speak to, and have really meaningful, confident conversations around contact center. And this is last but not least, but top tier bonuses and spiffs. We are constantly doing research to make sure that you guys are compensated in a really meaningful way. You're bringing the deal to us, we're keeping the deal. We want to make sure that you are rewarded appropriately. So as you can see, most of these requirements or most of these benefits come from a partner, a platinum status partner, 100+ deals. And if you can hit the next slide there, we're really, really excited to announce this. Next slide here. But all Telarus agents are going to have instant platinum status, so they're going to have key access to these benefits from day one. We want to make sure that you can hit the ground running with the full support of the ConnectFirst team. Can we get a slide transfer, please? Oh, perfect. You can just stay right there. So, everyone always says, the proof is in the pudding, tell me, show me the money. And, throughout this call, we've made a lot of big claims. We've shown you how thriving and growing this contact center market is, and the true need for a singular, reliable, cloud-based contact solution is more evident than ever. And so you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions and that you are aligned with the right vendor. The first piece here is our 97% customer retention rate. That's over 13 years, and if you've worked in the SaaS market at all, you know that churn is about 8 to 11%, and I'm sure you've experienced this. You've had to sell and resell deals because the deal that you sold today isn't going to be right for the customer tomorrow. And that's something that we put a lot of focus in with the elasticity and the architecture and the forward-thinking innovation that we put into our platform to make sure that your customers are able to grow. That example from that customer success story that Jeff gave earlier, that customer grew another 30% with us this year because of the enablement and the empowerment that we've been able to give their contact center. The next piece is that we're not new to this. We've been in business for 14 years as a cloud-first software provider. So you can take that experience to really help you sell confidently. And the last piece is a 25% average customer growth rate. So this should probably speak to you more than anything. So take whatever MRR and commission rate you're getting from a deal, and then you can predictably factor in an additional 25% year over year just because of how well we service and build our solution for our customers. So in summary, thank you so much for this time together. If we can get the last slide here, I want to talk to you about a very exclusive spiff that we're doing just for Telarus agents. It's a $100 bonus, $100 spiff for each qualified lead that you pass over through the partner deal registration portal. If it's a qualified lead up to 5, we're going to give you $100 spiff, no questions asked. The next piece is a $1,000 bonus for each closed deal. So this is $1,100, 5 times over for 5 new deals as you work with us. And you're going to see this is just to get it started. You're going to continue to see ongoing bonuses, ongoing spiffs, and then you get to enjoy an average of 25% increase from your annual reoccurring revenue. So the person that you want to get in touch with all of your burning questions is going to be Patrick Wright. He's our National Channel Manager, pwright@connectfirst.com. Again, this will be recorded, and there will be distribution from this. His phone number is 303-881-7764. Thank you so much for your time. We cannot be more excited for working with you.
Well, this is Doug Miller. I don't know if Ray Hicken is still out there. Ray, are you there? Are you on mute? He may have us on mute, or he may have been called away. I don't know. But want to thank Daryl Kelly and Jeff Beta for their exciting presentation from ConnectFirst. Great information. They will be here to take questions and comments here at the call's conclusions. Want to pass it now to Paul Liljenquist. He's the president of Clearview. Clearview joins us today with some exciting information on their organization as well. Paul, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can, very well. Paul, thanks for being here on the call today. Great to have you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just dive into the first slide and give you a little bit of background on Clearview, kind of our story, and then a little bit of information about the product, and then we'll try to create as much Q&A time as possible. Can we go to that first slide? Okay, sorry, second slide. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and just pull up, there are a couple pieces there that animation-wise, let's just go ahead and pull those up, and we'll just kind of talk about this really quick. Just stop at wallboards, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay, so a little bit of background on us. We have a couple companies. We have a BPO. We've been a call center BPO for 22 years, 23 years, and that's kind of where we cut our teeth. So we're operators, and we operate call centers on a daily basis with several locations globally, several thousand agents sitting on cloud platforms, handling calls for various customers throughout the world. And that's really where this product came out of. So as we were expanding as an organization, we had very critical needs with regards to data. And as the ConnectFirst team mentioned, getting access to data across all these disparate systems is pretty challenging. And so I was thrilled by their API sets and the power that the cloud brings to data aggregation. So as we were expanding, we actually started out as a premise organization and then migrated to the cloud over the last 15 years. And our product kind of matured with us. So like I said, we originally built this dashboarding product for our own internal use, and then decided to commercialize it about 6 years ago. And started with a couple of different partners, and have expanded that partner portfolio to several different partners, kind of spanning the system set, both prem and cloud. So we launched Clearview in 2012, and it was originally launched as just a pure reporting platform, performance management platform that allowed data aggregation, real-time reporting, and so forth. And as we expanded in the industry and started seeing more of the needs, we just started identifying other areas that were just being underserved from a market perspective. And so we started releasing additional products to the overall suite. Quality monitoring was a component that we released in 2013. Gamification, coaching, and wallboards followed over the last couple of years. And so really, the product is now truly a performance management product. The whole point of the application is to tie into all of these different systems and really drive the overall behaviors and performance improvement of any call center, be it customer service, sales, tech support, back office, and so on. So let's go to the next slide, and we can talk about some of the highlights that that kind of highlight the product. So the first thing that we tried to tackle with the product was just pure aggregated data. So that's one of the biggest challenges we see in the call center space is you have a ton of great systems, but none of them talk to each other. You have dynamite ACD platforms, QM tools, workforce management tools, CRMs, LMS systems, and so on. Legacy homegrown systems that have a lot of great data, but no real mechanism to act on that data or even prescribe any solution. So data aggregation was kind of the foundation of this product. Was, can we build a system that has all the different API components in place and all the data import components in place to integrate with any system. The second step was to make it as real time as possible, and so we've spent a lot of time building out the architecture to ensure that we can provide real-time or near real-time reporting and analysis. So at this point, the only limitation we run into is the limitation of the systems that we integrate with and how quickly they're able to manifest their data and expose it to us. But as more and more of these systems are moving to SOAP and REST APIs and the various hooks that come with that, that real-time access is really becoming the norm for most of these systems that these call centers access. So pulling that all into one place is really the key to, call center performance management. That real-time course correction is what really differentiates these call centers. The third piece was trying to drive this visibility globally. The challenge that you have with most reporting platforms is they're not built to, with the security parameters in place to allow you to provide this visibility to the entire organization. One, it's disparate data, but two, the reporting isn't suited to allow you to deliver this data down to the individual agent, if you wanted to get that granular. And so that was another area that we really wanted to focus on, was delivering dashboards throughout the entire organization. So you can be as macro as you want to be, say from an executive level, or as micro as you want to be, if you want to deliver it all the way down to the individual agent. And we have clients that kind of range that entire gamut, where some of them use it strictly from a management executive reporting perspective, where other ones have it all the way down to each individual agent with their own performance dashboard and managing how they drive their business. So that was another big step in kind of the evolution of the product. Now, the last year or two has really been this focus on these last two pieces, this concept of behavioral intelligence and prescriptive analytics. And this concept of having full holistic aggregation of data, and from there really determining what behaviors drive the business. What are the lead indicators that are both predictive of the goal and are behavioral based in nature, where I can actually have an impact on an individual's performance. And so that's our machine learning and AI components of the product that are now starting to deliver behavioral intelligence that then drives prescriptive change through the organization. So let's go to the last slide, and I want to walk through this kind of visually so you understand how this works. So let's just stop right there if we can. So there's two things. There's two areas in call centers where you see a ton of disparate information. You see it on the system side. You have a ton of great systems with a ton of information, and they all provide very, very solid diagnostic info. But you really can't drive any prescriptive solutions from it without having that data, aggregated into a single platform. And the same thing goes on the human side. You have a lot of human behavioral data that is, that sits in various platforms or is just being manually tracked, and you don't really have a mechanism to aggregate that data either. And so, so really the first step for us as the product started to mature was to start aggregating that system data. So let's just go ahead and start clicking through this. So the first step was aggregating these system metrics. So pulling in ACD, CRM, WFM, QM, LMS, CSAT, just all the different systems that these call centers deal with. And can I pull in all that diagnostic data into an application? And then can I start generating diagnostic inputs from a human perspective? And so kind of down in that left bottom quadrant, can I start building tools where I can leverage employee data? And by rolling out dashboards throughout the organization, I can now start gathering that. I can build profiles for every one of my employees. We can survey them within the product. We have messaging components within the tool. We have behavioral results through gaming that allow us to start gathering diagnostic data from the human level. And then by pulling all of that data into one holistic system, we can now start correlating information. We can identify trends in the data and how behaviors are impacting overall performance. And it's through those, through causation and correlation that we're able to identify prescriptive outputs. And that's where we start to fire those triggers back out into these two levels, this system behavioral level and this human behavioral level. So down in that bottom right-hand quadrant, we fire up prescriptive outputs back to the agents via their dashboard. Those things are driven through rules engines. It's displayed through wall boards. It's trained and developed through work aids and tasks, through our gamification platform, and how we, not only identify what agents need to be trained on, but then what's going to incentivize them per their preferences and personality traits to want to change their behavior and to chase that incentive and actually change their behavior. And so you've got those prescriptive outputs that are firing on the human behavioral side. System behavioral side is the same thing. All these, like I said before, all these systems have great data, and pulling all this data into one place makes it very powerful from an analytics perspective and really getting a holistic diagnosis of what's really going on. But if you're not firing that data back into those systems don't really benefit from the aggregated approach to performance management. And so that's really another big area that we've been tackling over the last couple of years, is now not only pulling data from these systems, but pushing data back into these systems. For example, proficiency automation. So for a long time, a lot of these ACDs allowed you to skill your agents, and then within those skills, build out proficiencies. The problem is the majority of that proficiency updating was done manually. There was no real smart way to update it, or if you did update it, it was strictly with ACD data, and the challenge there is you're re-ranking agents in a vacuum based on the only data you have, which might be average handle time or unavailable state or available state or talk time or whatever. And that doesn't really give you a holistic view into that agent's true performance. Now, when you can marry that ACD data up with your QM data or your CRM data, your CSAT data, now you're prescribing a true ranking and updating of proficiencies. So when we released proficiency automation with our different partners, it had a dramatic impact on just overall ROI, where we were real-time routing calls based on what the customer deemed the true performance of that agent to be across all of their systems. And now we're starting to see that across various systems in kind of the whole suite, where now we can drive custom coaching. We're now pushing into QM tools and driving targeted quality monitoring, looking at workforce management and determining, are there better, not only where to staff your agents and when to staff them, but who to staff at which times based on performance. So there's a lot of system behavioral components that are now being driven through these prescriptive outputs. And so really what we're trying to do is just kind of complete the circle between system behaviors, system metrics being fired in, and system behaviors being fired out. Likewise on the human side, pulling in human metrics and firing out human behaviors. And as we pull in that diagnostic data real time and fire out prescriptive outputs real time, not only do you enhance the behaviors of these systems and how they perform, but now you're also driving and enhancing the behaviors of the individual employees, be it enterprise, executive level personnel, or the individual call rep that's on the front line taking that phone call. So hopefully this just kind of gives a holistic view. I think the ConnectFirst team did a great job of kind of explaining the industry and what's going on. The cloud is a powerful area. We're very bullish on it, obviously. That's what we've moved to with our BPO. But what we're more bullish about is the fact that these cloud-based applications are so much more open and allow you to talk to each other and to identify better ways to enhance and improve overall efficiency and effectiveness and performance in these call centers. So that's kind of our play. That's how we fit in. We've worked with Telarus and thrilled by the Telarus carrier sales relationship. We've worked with both companies for a very long time through our different partners, and look forward to just a continually growing and solid relationship as we move forward.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. I apologize, everybody. I got muted out and I couldn't speak when I was talking about a great presentation by ConnectFirst and trying to talk about Clearview. But let me just say again about Paul and Clearview. That's been a long-term relationship we've had with them, and I have watched his product go in and make a difference on closing a deal for on the core platform when they were hesitating. But when they saw the tie-in and what Clearview could do, they ended up making the decision to go with that product and to go with Clearview because of the Clearview platform. I think it's important for you to realize that, and Paul alluded to this, is that there's high turnover in contact centers, and part of this product, it helps with retention because of the things that they can see in employees who are working in the call center, their performance. But it does more than that, and so I'm really excited about this. This is one of a continuation of. We just don't have the contact center. We have platforms that feed into the contact center that make a difference. And when you can't sell the core platform, you can go in and sell something else because sometimes that's the only way you can get a hook in the door, and then you can go in and sell the core platform down the road. So anyway, thank you very much. We just have a few minutes left here, so I do have some questions that have already been asked, and I want to ask those questions for the benefit of everybody on the phone. The first question that was asked, this goes back to ConnectFirst. They wanted to know about the tie-ins that you had to WFM, WFO solutions, who you're integrated with today. What are your top three, or what are the ones that you're integrated with today?
Sorry, Ray, was that for me or was that for ConnectFirst?
That was for ConnectFirst. Who are you? Sorry, that was for ConnectFirst. We can't hear you. Sounds like we lost ConnectFirst. So one of the other questions while we're waiting for ConnectFirst to come back is, while Paul was talking, they were intrigued by your BPO and can they sell your services? The answer to that is yes. We have a relationship with their company so that you could be able to sell Clearview. Focus Services, BPO services, and get commissioned on that. So we can answer more questions about that later. So other questions that came out of this, maybe let me ask this question of Paul while we're waiting for ConnectFirst to join us. Tell me about the cost of your product, and is it cost effective to be able to layer this in on a core platform, and is it easy for you guys to tie into most platforms?
Yeah, so from a cost perspective, it's a pretty straightforward model. Our core platform is just based on a per named agent model, and that's kind of how we have it structured with all the different partners that are currently reselling it or private labeling the product today. And then you can add on different pieces. So if you wanted to just sell just purely the dashboards, you can certainly start there. But as these companies mature and are looking for more pieces, you can start adding on these other components like QM or gamification, coaching. Those are all additional add-on modules that allow customers to just kind of pick and choose what they want. So if they want to buy just the pure reporting, dashboarding, and that's where they want to start, great. But what we're seeing more and more as companies are really looking to drive ROI, the visibility to the data is critical, and that's kind of the first step. But as you start to get into gamification and the power of driving behavioral change in the call centers, that's been a huge add-on, and is just the attach rate on gamification is through the roof. Coaching is another big one. Can we go really drive the proper behaviors at a coaching level to ensure that our managers are coaching and managing their people the right way and coaching them on the right things, right? Coaching is all about being timely and targeted, and that's what our coaching platform does. So those are all add-on modules. that customers are finding tremendous value in, but it also increases your overall MAT. And those are all, every add-on is a commissionable add-on, and all those relationships are already built into the commission structure with these various partners that are currently selling the platform.
Perfect. Thank you. ConnectFirst is saying they're on, Estefana, but they're muted. Can you unmute them? Anyone from ConnectFirst able to speak to us?
Ray, Steph said that we may have lost that connection. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting up against the hour. We will take these questions that you had for ConnectFirst, and we will get them answered for you and get them out to you. And again, thank you all for joining the call today. We appreciate your participation, and we appreciate ConnectFirst and Clearview. And again, it's just a perfect example of what we're able to do at Telarus to provide you the best resources in the industry to be confident to go in there and to be able to provide these solutions that are difference makers for these companies. And look forward to next week's call where we'll introduce 2 more companies to you. Thanks again for joining, everybody, and have a good day.
That hour just goes far too fast. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, everyone on the call, for the outstanding information. Thanks to Ray Hicken and his guest, Daryl Kelly, Jeff Mina from ConnectFirst, Paul Liljenquist from Clearview. Also want to remind you that we're launching Brodynt this week. We thank Brett Ryer for his time on the call today. Don't forget that launch call Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on the Telarus Bridge. And if you haven't yet registered for our Telarus Innovation Conference Thursday in Braselton, Georgia, you can still do that in our Telarus back office. Go to Telarus.com events and send in your registration today. Thanks to all of you. You are the ones that make this call as valuable as it is. We appreciate it. I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. We'll see you here again next Tuesday. Have a great selling week, everyone.